hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
From our Denver studios, it's America's Voice Live with Tudor Dixon and Steve Gruber. America's Voice Live.
Hello and welcome to America's Voice Live. Thank you for being with us today. I'm Tudor Dixon alongside Steve Gruber. Today is Friday, September 18th, 2020, and we have a packed show ahead. We'll take a look at today's headlines. The president held a conference on American history yesterday where he announced a new school curriculum. Californian family has come out and accused VP nominee Kamala Harris of trespassing. You may remember the man who stopped the terror attack on a Paris-bound train. Well, he's now running for Congress in a state where they need folks who will be tough on terrorism. And Tom Borelli will be joining us, and you won't want to miss that. But first, Steve, the president introduced 1776 Unites yesterday.
Well, it was a big deal, Tudor. He called people together. He called parents and educators together to the White House to talk about the indoctrination in education. He said it has to stop. This hateful behavior, this hateful conversation toward America has to come to an end, says the president. And I think there's a lot of Americans that agree with that. They see the lesson plans that show them being told that America is a hateful place, a racist place, an unfair place that has cheated people to get to where it is today. And the president says, we're an exceptional nation. We have done things and conquered things in communication and education, transportation and medication, places that other countries have not gone. And he says we need to be proud of that. We need to be proud of this exceptional thing we call America. He stood up. He was bold. He was loud. And he was proud. It was the president, classic Donald Trump, if you will. Listen to this.
Our mission is to defend the legacy of America's founding, the virtue of America's heroes, and the nobility of the American character. We must clear away the twisted web of lies in our schools and classrooms and teach our children the magnificent truth about our country. We want our sons and daughters to know that they are the citizens of the most exceptional nation in the history of the world.
And I think that makes people feel proud. They see the president speak up and say, the most exceptional nation in the history of the world. It's true. No nation has functioned longer with the same government as the United States. It's a record holder in world history. Why? Because the documents that founded this nation work. And the president says it's high time we taught that. Not the 1619 Project or critical race theory or other things that he says will simply tear us apart, make for more tribalism and more divisiveness. We need to come together. Here's something else that the president had to say yesterday at the White House.
For many years now, the radicals have mistaken Americans' silence for weakness, but they're wrong. There is no more powerful force than a parent's love for their children, and patriotic moms and dads are going to demand that their children are no longer fed hateful lies about this country. American parents are not going to accept indoctrination in our schools, cancel culture in our work, or the repression of traditional faith, culture, and values in the public square. Not anymore.
Not anymore, Tudor. And I think that those comments reflect the thoughts of so many parents today that have seen homework assignments come home that are hateful in nature, that show America as being a hateful, racist, unfair place. And yet I think that a lot of parents, maybe you and I included, want to see a more balanced approach to education across this country. I know I would like to see a more balanced approach, and I think it's time that what the president said is enacted. And I'm thinking that it's also an important comment to be made in this critical election year.
Absolutely. And this is black leaders that he has involved in this curriculum and developing this. Civil rights leader Bob Woodson, we've had him on the program. He is involved in this. They want a more complete and inspiring story of the history of African Americans in the United States. This is in stark contrast to the 1619 Project. This is coming out and explaining what American history truly is. And Steve, I think that this is so important when you see the divide that's going on in this country and the claims of racism and the claims of, horrible actions on the part of Americans and how this country was founded. It's very important that Americans understand the true history of African Americans and the African Americans that worked with this government to create change and to create the free society that we live in today.
Sure.
And I think that's what the president has said. So many people, in fact, have come out and said the best way to combat racism is not this critical race theory where you go around and tell this little boy you're the problem because of this little boy and whatnot.
Right.
Instead of that, say these are the great Americans that have come through history, and this is what you can aspire to be like.
I agree with you on that observation, Tudor. I mean, let's be honest. So many Americans have taken the time to help build this country, those that have given their lives along the way for freedom, prosperity, and liberty, to save this country time and again from those that would destroy it. So I think it's right that we teach those lessons, and we teach those lessons well to the young people today. Teach those kids civics lessons. So many schools don't even have civics classes anymore. They don't understand how the government works. They don't understand the greatness of the things that we have accomplished as a government, saving the world not once but twice from world wars, delivering more peace and prosperity than any nation in world history. Are we perfect? No, we're not. But have we come closer than any other nation thus far? Yes, we certainly have. And American greatness and the pursuit thereof was laid out in the Declaration of Independence by a 33-year-old Thomas Jefferson. Now, his very writings laid the groundwork to destroy slavery. He knew it at the time. A great irony considering that Thomas Jefferson owned slaves. But those very documents laid out the destruction of slavery, the Northwest Ordinance that laid out the Northwest Territory, all to be slave-free territories. This was all put together by Thomas Jefferson and those that came after him. Is it a perfect union? No, but as the president pointed out on Constitution Day yesterday, it is a more perfect union as we strive to become better every day. That's the goal, to get better every day.
Let me contrast this and switch gears here to something that Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris is promoting, and that is the Minnesota Freedom Fund. So I think you may remember a few months ago when she came out and tweeted that we should support the Minnesota Freedom Fund. She said, if you're able to chip in to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground, do it now. This is what she wants folks to do this. Well, let me tell you, a couple of the people that were bailed out, we've talked about this before, not these particular people. There have been multiple people that have been bailed out that have gone on to since commit crimes. One of those men, a 37-year-old man, is now accused of raping an 8-year-old girl. And another man broke into a 70-year-old woman's house. Turns out this woman is his own mother. He had I already had an order against him saying he couldn't go to her house. He's accused of going to her house, beating her, leaving her in a pool of blood, and then curb stomping another man, a term I had never even heard of until today. I had to ask our producer what that even meant, but it's horrific behavior. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, for the first man who is accused of raping the 8-year-old girl, they paid between $75,000 and $300,000 for his release. The second man, they paid between $4,000 and $50,000 for his release. This is after they were released. They committed these, or they're accused of committing these horrific crimes, Steve.
Unbelievable that these horrendous acts happened. More unbelievable, our production staff apparently knows what these things mean, which is a little bit shocking to me here today. But let's be, all kidding aside, these are the sorts of things that are going on in New York City, where you have cash-free bail, no cash bail. Criminals are being re-released back onto the streets. You have the same thing where Kamala Harris and other leading Democrats are trying to get criminals released. These are not protesters. These are not quiet, peaceful protesters. These people are not, carrying flags and singing songs. They're hurling bricks and lighting fires and destroying businesses and stealing stuff that isn't theirs. Let's be clear about what's going on. $500 million in damage to Minneapolis alone. This is not okay. It's not okay with most Americans. And for Kamala Harris to be part and parcel to bailing these people out so they can commit more crimes, including that man, as you pointed out, Tudor, that is accused of raping an 8-year-old girl. Now, that happened in 2015, but he's been skipping around ever since. He never should have been let out in the first place. These are criminals, dangerous criminals.
Absolutely, and this is what you have here. You have these people being bailed out by a fund that is being promoted by a former Attorney General. It's terrible. Running for Vice President of the United States. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
If you were a tree, what tree would you be? That's the way I felt about the town hall involving Joe Biden and Anderson Cooper last night, Tudor. It was not at all like George Stephanopoulos and the president a couple of days earlier on ABC. In fact, CNN was, to call it softball questions would be an insult to softball questions. I think there were 16 people in the audience. Only 2, maybe 3 were Republicans. It was obviously loaded with softball questions. But I want to show you something right here off the top, because all of this conversation about masks and social distancing has been at the forefront of the conversation in the United States and across the world for some time. And during the live presentation, Joe Biden and Anderson Cooper gave the impression that they were socially distancing and being responsible in respect to the COVID-19 pandemic. But watch this. As we head towards the commercial break, they head toward each other. And before it's all said and done, these 2 are whispering in each other's ear. Take a look at this.
For former Vice President Joe Biden. Thanks.
I mean, they're right there leaning over. No word on what was said. Where's my teleprompter? Can I have some help
smelling
here?
Anderson's hair.
That's a clear possibility. Man, your hair smells terrific. What are you using? I love that product. But let's be honest, it's the dishonesty, the disingenuous nature of it to say, oh, look at us, we're good, we're socially distancing. Going to commercial, they think that it's already, because they don't have a monitor right there, they think that it's already gone to commercial break, and so it's lean in, sniff the hair, or whatever it is, Tudor, but it's quite telling, don't you think, the fact that they're this hypocritical, that they want to sit there and lecture you and I and tell us what we're supposed to do, and then, oh, the camera's not on, everything changes.
This is exactly the same as Nancy Pelosi getting her hair done without a mask. And when she came out and said, I was getting my hair washed, do you wear a mask when you wash your hair? I will say again, absolutely. In the state of Michigan, I have to if I go to a salon.
That's right.
If I'm at home, I don't. But if I go to a salon, heck yes, I do, because that's what the law states I have to do, and that's what the owner of the salon says I must do to go to the salon. So that's the same exact thing we see here on camera. When she's in front of the camera, she has that mask under her neck, ready to put it back on. When she walks away, she always does. Same with Joe Biden. But the minute he thinks the camera's not on, which I don't know why they would think it would cut that quickly, because my goodness, they make a beeline for one another, and he goes right in for the sniff. And this is very typical of Joe. So you have to say, is this why they have kept him so far? Because, the president, he obviously keeps his distance, but he'll walk alongside someone. But if you think about it, this is something that Joe Biden has even gone on The View to talk about. He didn't know there were these boundaries that he was crossing with women and people and getting too close to them and touching them too much. Maybe it's just that he can't help himself. And I'm meaning this honestly, that he does have a problem where he invades people's personal space.
Sure, and maybe he was leaning over to Anderson Cooper to say, hey, can you play Despacito on the record player? I mean, that's a possibility too, isn't it? I mean, right? And Despacito, it's my favorite Latin song. Meanwhile, other gaffes involving Joe Biden at last night's CNN town hall event. Apparently, Joe speaks the truth sometimes when there's not a prompter. He doesn't want social justice. What do you want, Joe? Tell us.
Together, we can work toward racial justice, economic injustice, climate change.
We can work toward economic injustice and climate change. Attaboy. Way to be a team player, you deplorable. I mean, it's just kind of funny. But here's the problem. I've spoken to a couple of Democratic operatives in the last 24 hours. None of them will admit. It's embarrassing to them as much as it is to Joe Biden. None of them will admit, Tudor, that he uses a prompter for everything. And so the question then becomes, coming up in, just 10 or 11 days, they'll be in Cleveland for the debate on the 29th, right? It's a Tuesday. So a week from this coming Tuesday, the first debate in Cleveland. None of these guys will admit he uses a prompter even for Zoom calls and what should be lighthearted conversation. He can't handle it. And so compare and contrast, if you will, what happened with George Stephanopoulos and the president on ABC News 2 days ago, and what happened on CNN last night with Joe Biden. Totally different. The questions were softball on CNN. It was hardcore on ABC. That was contact politics, full contact, right? So I say that clearly Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing, because he's doing debate prep with the A-team. I mean, George Stephanopoulos is the stand-in for a real candidate. The Democrats could likely use one, so maybe it's not a bad plan. But there it is, and I think it's going to be two distinct styles coming to the floor on the 29th.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. When you look at him and he says economic injustice, you can clearly tell that this is someone who read the line incorrectly. This was not supposed to be economic injustice, but this is what he did on camera. And then you can visibly see that he's flustered by that, because he's lost his place. He doesn't know how to get back to it. But I have to compare this to Joe Biden running for Senate or Joe Biden running for vice president, because we didn't see this back then. And this is someone, when you have someone with over 40 years of experience in government, then you can take their current behavior, just like their stenographer did, and go back and say, this is not the same Joe. There's something off here. This person cannot perform the way they used to. And if he can't read a teleprompter, if he isn't able to perform in that sense, then obviously he doesn't know what's on the teleprompter.
Well, that's exactly right. In fact, we should fact check Joe Biden. He wants to be fact checked in real time on the 29th. He's said it several times. Let's fact check him here. He said the president didn't talk about the COVID-19 coronavirus during the State of the Union address. Let's fact check that right now. Joe, what was said?
Imagine had he at the State of the Union stood up and said, we got a real problem. Imagine if he had said something.
Protecting Americans' health also means fighting infectious diseases. We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak in China. My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
There's the Real America's Voice fact-checking team getting it done. And one more before we make it to break here, and that is Joe Biden saying he would lock down the country. Let's fact-check that, shall we?
About the lockdown, I was asked if, in fact, there was a national emergency, and everyone, all the experts said, lock it down. We're not talking about locking down the whole country.
So if the scientists say shut it down,
I would shut it down.
I would shut it down. Fact-checking here at Real America's Voice, Tudor. That's the A-team getting it done.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more here on America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. I'm Tudor Dixon alongside Steve Gruber. Steve, I don't know if you remember, actually, I know you, of course, remember because you remember everything. A few years ago, there was a potential terrorist attack on a Paris-bound train, and there was an American hero who stopped that attack. Well, this man is now running for Congress in Oregon, which obviously we know what's been going on in Portland, that we need some strong leadership in that state. So he's running for Congress. His name is Alex Skarlatos. And when asked why he was running, this was his answer.
Who makes up your district and why do those people need to be fought for?
Timber, fishing, grass seed farming, very rural and working class, blue collar people that have really had a tough time over the last 30 years. I mean, economically, since the timber industry went away, things have really gone downhill, and the incumbent Democrat not doing anything to help us.
So he's a veteran, Steve, and I think the most interesting part about his story is that they decided to do a movie about the Paris attack and reenact exactly what happened. And he actually played himself in that movie. So he played himself in that movie. Now he's going on to run for Congress. He sounds like a very driven young man. And when I say young man, he is only 27. So he would be a very young person in Congress. And in the past, I have said it concerns me because I've seen folks like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, in my opinion, she oftentimes does not have the life experience to come up with the ideas, to fully think through the ideas that she brings to Congress. But this is obviously a veteran, maybe a different background. I'm opening my mind to younger people in Congress. I think I just was soured a little bit. It sounds like he has his head on his shoulders.
It certainly does, you know, and you look back at that attack, there were 3 Americans, I believe, on that train, 3 members of the U.S. military that fought back against what was obviously going to be a terrorist attack, and they also received the highest awards from the nation of France. They're awarded those medals, I'll say Medal of Honor, I'm not sure what they call it in France. But the fact being, here is a guy who joined the U.S. military. Here is a guy that decided his part of the country in Oregon, deep blue state, that the constituents there, the farmers, the ranchers, those that work in the timber industry, those that work in commercial fishing, you know, all of the things that are being attacked by those that call themselves environmental warriors, the environmental justice warriors, they go after timber and fishing and all of the things that this guy cares about, and a lot of Americans care about, because we care about farmers and ranchers and making sure that our produce comes from the United States and not Brazil or Peru or Paraguay or wherever it might come from. American farmers are having a tough time every place, so it's nice to, it's refreshing to hear. Let me put it that way. It is refreshing to hear a young man say, listen, I went and stood watch for the United States. I stood watch on that train in France, and now I want to stand watch for you right here in Oregon, where those on the left would have you believe it's okay to have no law and order. It's okay for there to be anarchists in the streets, for our industries like logging and fishing and cattle raising to be destroyed. He says no. And so he's quite bright at the age of 27 to say, listen, we can do better in America. And I hope that after all the shutdowns and the behavior by Governor Kate Brown in Oregon, that people like this young man are able to step to the front and win an election. It will tell you a lot. And when you get outside of Eugene, when you get outside of Portland, you'll find that Oregon is still like what America used to be like. And I think you're going to find that to be true all over this country come November 3rd. There's a lot of people that think just like he does, that are tired of watching America get denigrated, like we heard the president talk about earlier in the program. Tired of America being called the villain. Tired of calling their neighbors racist and misogynist and bad people and deplorables. People are tired of that. Let's talk about what works for us. You know, America was built on the greatest pile of natural resources anywhere in the world. Timber, water, soil, gold, all of it here in America. It's a riches of natural resources that we can use to continue to make America great. It's a fact. Do your homework. Don't get your history lessons from Facebook and Twitter. I'm happy to play professor from time to time. I'll do it for you. It's a public service. It's no extra charge, tutor. I'll help you too. There's special after-school classes too. Just give me a call.
I think I have enough after-school classes from you, but I'm glad you're willing to share with our viewers as well, Steve.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. Well, actually, something that you're saying, I want to call attention really quickly before we have to go to break. Chicago had a Back the Blue rally. Hundreds gathered at this rally. It was people that were trying to prove that they support the police, which was so important for Chicago police officers right now, because they have been working so much overtime. You've seen what's happened. You saw the looting, the rioting, but also just the constant chaos and shootings in Chicago require a lot of police officers to work a lot of hours. And so there were people out there, community members, spouses, police officers themselves. It was so nice to see so many people gathering and saying, actually, in Chicago, we back the blue and we need the blue. So I think that's what will also help this young man getting into Congress. Please stay tuned. We have more right after this break on America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. A lot of people have a lot of questions when it comes to the numbers involving COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and plenty of reason for that. We've all heard the stories about people counted as COVID positive or COVID deaths when we realized they had several other pre-morbidities and therefore they didn't have a disease that maybe claimed their life. This has been something that's been going on for quite some time. Now we learn in Nashville, Tennessee, that the mayor there and the public office holders there are trying to keep secret the fact that, well, there aren't nearly as many cases as they'd like you to believe in places like bars and restaurants downtown, bars and restaurants that they're keeping closed. So what numbers do you believe? More here than there should be, less here than there should be? Tom Borelli joining me, a good friend of mine, contributor to America's Voice Live for a number of years. Tom, welcome to the program.
Hey, Steve, great to be with you at a sane hour of the day. Normally, I'm on at 6:30 on your other show.
Well, I appreciate that, and also here on Real America's Voice. But let me ask you about this, Tom. You've watched the numbers the same as all of us, and in the beginning, we all went, okay, we need to take this seriously. We don't know what's going on. But more and more anecdotal stories of fixing the numbers, putting the thumb on the scale, counting people as COVID deaths when they had 3 or 4 other very serious problems. People that die of cancer and we're told those are COVID deaths. And then in Nashville, the emails that have been exposed by the local Fox affiliate down there showing that the mayor and others in the health department try to keep a lid on the fact that really at the bars and restaurants, there was no problem at all with COVID-19 and they should have been open, but they lied about it to the public. What do you make of it?
Well, Steve, so much for follow the science, right? That's always the mantra of the too many elected officials. But it really, when you boil it down, all these elected officials, especially blue state Democrats, like I'm referring to Governor Cuomo in New York, I mean, basically they run a system where they really don't have any really incentive really to keep these businesses open and people employed, because in many cases they're going to be reelected anyway. The risk that they face is if there's a big number in deaths, they're going to be held accountable. So for them, the risk reward is totally for a shutdown. However, if you're a small business owner, the risk reward is you go to unemployment, you lose your home. So there's far more risk with these shutdowns. So for the individual being affected. So there's really a disconnect between these elected officials and we, the people that put them in office. And this is I wrote a commentary about this in Newsmax, I think a month or two ago, was that, look, this whole COVID-19 issue really brings into focus, it's really, really important who you elect, because these people now have the power really of life or death, of whether you go unemployed or not. Mm-hmm. And this is just really frightening.
And let me look at some of the numbers here. In Michigan here, a study was just released by the Michigan Restaurant Association that More than a quarter of all restaurants and hotels in Michigan are about to be closed permanently. Nationally, as many as 60% of the restaurants, according to Yelp, that have been shut down are never going to reopen their doors. I mean, this is a direct response to the fact that mayors and governors and others, mostly Democrats, I might add, have shut down business around this country. They say it has to do with science, but of course, the governor in Michigan has become infamous, if you will, for going after hairstylists and gyms that have never been proven to be the epicenter of disease. And now we see the folks in Nashville, which, by the way, I want to look at just a little bit of part of this case. June 30th, when they started looking at tracing of positive patients in Nashville, just 22 cases came up. And Leslie Waller from the health department asks the mayor's office this. This isn't going to be publicly released, right? Just info for the mayor's office. Correct, not for public consumption, writes a senior advisor to the Mail. Not for public consumption. Don't tell them the truth. My God, they might want to go out for dinner on Friday night. We can't stand for that, Tom.
Oh, of course not. And I think what's really being come to light now, again, especially with many of these Democrat governors and mayors, is the fact that it really discloses their one-size-fits-all policy. And we've seen former Vice President Biden espouse the same sort of theory. Everyone has to wear a mask, or we're going to shut down the entire country without any nuances that there might be a difference between a New York City subway and the cornfields of Nebraska. They don't make any nuance, any differences, because it's easier and also fits into their really belief in life that they can control everything. You could sit in the White House or in Albany, or if you're Governor Cuomo, and just turn that dial, and you can control everything. And it really shows it really also shows their arrogance that they actually believe they can control natural phenomena like climate change or global warming, or even a black swan virus event. They can control it, Steve. Sure. Don't worry.
Well, of course they can. They've got the magic wand that they said didn't exist. They've been keeping it hidden in the box. But here's the real question. With all the manipulation of the numbers that we're aware of, why would anybody believe it? And the really cynical question out of all that for you, Tom, is this. Do you really think, because I look at this and I think, my gosh, the Democrats would like this virus to explode for the next 45 or 50 days. They'd like it to really just spike up, so that they would have a better chance of getting Joe Biden to limp across the finish line. And that is sad when you see them politicizing the vaccine and going after Dr. Robert Redfield saying, well, why would you pick November 1st? Because we think we might be able to get it done by then so we can save lives. And he's attacked by Jeff Merkley from Oregon and others. I mean, that kind of behavior is repugnant, Tom.
Science and the old boy who cried wolf. I mean, who's going to believe any government official in any public health crisis the next one that comes around? I think that's going to be the biggest casualty of all in the long term. But in the short term, again, what we're seeing is Democrats will do anything for power. They will allow cities to be torched. They will defund police. They will do anything. They will trash science, even though they say follow the science. This is really their agenda. You're nothing really but a serf in their mind, in their kingdom, and you sit down in that corner and shut up and bale the hay. That's what they want you to do. They don't want independent thought because that's a little bit too messy. And I think this is the real issue and consequences is.
We've got the big boomerang of the report here just a couple of weeks ago that said only about 6% of the fatalities involving COVID-19 were solely from COVID-19, less than 10,000 people across the entire country. And then, of course, the big pushback, well, that's not true, and that's been misreported. And no, it wasn't. I read the CDC report. I sat down and I read it because it's what I do. I don't trust what people say on social media. I don't get my news from social media and say, oh, well, I saw it on Facebook. That's good. I trust it. Not the way I operate, not the way you operate. And so when you look at these people, on average, the people that died with COVID-19 had 2.6 additional issues, be it obesity, high blood pressure, hypertension, whatever it may have been that contributed to their demise, to the bad outcome. So when you look at that and you put all the facts in totality, you have to ask yourself, what do we really know? You and I as citizens, what do we really know that we can actually say, well, I believe that? I don't know what to believe anymore, Tom, because there's been so much mud put in the water.
I think that is the biggest casualty of all this, is no one's going to believe anything and no one's going to believe anybody in authority. What's authority anymore? So I think that's going to be a long-term issue, but these Democrats will do anything for power. And talking about numbers, even the New York Times actually did their own kind of little report. It turns out that something like 90% of the people that are tested positive for COVID using this very sophisticated PCR test, well, they have such a low level of virus it really can't be transmitted, because this test is plus or minus. You either had it or you don't. In theory, you could have had a dead virus in your nostril. They do the test, they find a little piece of the RNA, amplify it, and you're positive, which is really ridiculous. So the testing is way off as well.
I forget sometimes your background is right up the alley here, and you know what you're talking about when you talk about that. But the viral load being so low that it's hardly detectable, or it triggers a positive result when the person that test positive was never at risk. Tom, we got to leave it there. Greatly appreciated. Tom Borelli, everybody here on America's Voice Live. Appreciated, Tom. Thank you for being here. The president expected to speak at a news conference event coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern time, if he's on time. We'll keep an eye on that and see if he does make it to the podium. If he does, of course, we will break away and go to that live. You're watching America's Voice Live. We'll be right back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this.
Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up. A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. I'm Tudor Dixon alongside Steve Gerber. Steve, we have been talking about the president speaking yesterday about a patriotic education. Now, he's talked about this quite a bit. He came out yesterday and announced that there will be the 1776 Unites. And we have a clip of something he said. I want to play that for you, and then let's talk about it. Here it is.
From Washington to Lincoln, from Jefferson to King, America has been home to some of the most incredible people who have ever lived. With the help of everyone here today, the legacy of 1776 will never be erased. Our heroes will never be forgotten. Our youth will be taught to love America with all of their heart and all of their soul. We will save this cherished inheritance for our children, for their children, and for every generation to come. This is a very important day. Thank you all once again for being here. Now I will sign the Constitution Day proclamation God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
So
It's
you
remarkable,
heard him
isn't it?
yesterday. Yes, absolutely. This is very important, especially in the climate that we're in right now. But I think most importantly, this is going to inspire people to continue to keep the country the way it is. So I think that this is going to speak to a lot of the voters out there. Obviously, the president probably thinks that as well. This was part of the plan, but I don't think that this is really a voter issue. I think that this is very much something near and dear to this president and this administration's heart. They're very concerned with where the country is going and where education is going. But we've also seen a lot of these young people who have been what we would consider indoctrinated. And you see a lot of these professors. I know you have a professor on your morning program weekly that talks about the fact that education changed over the years. And there has been this new push for young people to be unhappy with the United States, to dislike the country. And this is what this administration is fighting back against.
Well, doesn't it seem unusual to you? Because it seems unusual to me. What's controversial about teaching the Founding Fathers? About talking about Abigail Adams or Dolly Madison or George Washington or Valley Forge or 1,000 other stories? The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, whatever it might be. Why is that controversial? Johnny Appleseed, stories that we all learned as kids, at least I did, and I think they're good stories. It doesn't mean you don't talk about slavery and the scourge that it was and the stain that it left on America, but remember, we didn't create slavery. We inherited it from the British and the French and the Spanish. We ended it after 84 years as a nation. We got it off from the North American continent. We battled for another 100 years to come up with, a plan that works for all people in a better way, but that was part of the magic and the gift given to us by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, the father of the Constitution. It's what got us there, the founding documents and principles. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, James Monroe, Thomas Jefferson, even John Adams, although I think his wife far outworked him, was a bit smarter than he was. Besides that, yes, I think Abigail was the ticket there. They created a set of documents and principles that my rights are not derived from other people, but derived from the Creator, from God Himself. And that sets America apart. And what's wrong, what's controversial about teaching real American history? There should be no controversy there. It just seems to me that some folks on the other side want to just say, this is bad, and this is bad, and you did this, this, and this. Well, okay. Nations like people are imperfect. Nations like people have to work to improve themselves. And we've done that for 244 years. And we get better every year. More inclusive, more diverse, more accepting. I mean, look at the things that we do in this country now. It's the largest, most diverse country on the world, whether you're talking about religion or race or ethnicity or background, all of it, Tudor. And what he is doing, I think, is remarkable and long overdue.
Well, I'd like to actually switch gears here and tell you what Joe Biden is concerned about in schools, although you may think that it sounds like he's a little confused about the two topics that he's talking about here. I'll play it, and then I want to get your reaction. Here it is.
We're going to invest in close to $1 trillion over time, in the near time, for infrastructure. We're going to build green infrastructure. For example, I propose that we spend $100 billion on making sure our schools have the right ventilation, making sure schools, in fact, are safe.
Talking
Joe.
about schools, he
It's
talked
rough.
about the Green New Deal. And then he went to schools needing ventilation.
It's because everything's disjointed. Yeah, he's talking about $1 trillion for the Green New Deal to appease Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and that far-left wing of the Democrat Party. And then somehow he's at $100 billion on ventilation systems for schools, which has to do with the coronavirus response, has nothing to do with the Green New Deal. It should be separate anyway. Somehow I got mixed up in there. Where's the prompter? We're going to need it because this is going to be a painful, 3.5 week presidency if he gets elected. I mean, it's going to be tough to get through that 3.5 weeks before Kamala Harris is sworn in under the 25th Amendment.
It's something that they're going to be pushed on very hard over the next few weeks from the Trump campaign, for sure. It's something that the media has not pushed hard on. We saw Fox News come after him and ask his people, not him, they asked his people if he's using a teleprompter because he has given so few interviews that people haven't even been able to ask him. But when he is giving an interview, it's very obvious that he is reading and he is reading incorrectly. And so now we have this situation. I don't even understand how this happens, though, Steve, because it was one thing when you had him reading things incorrectly. When we spoke earlier about economic injustice, that's clearly misreading what's there. But when you go from one topic to a totally different topic, because he's talking about the Green New Deal and then he's talking about COVID-19 in schools. Those are two topics that he somehow got confused and mixed together. But again, I say, why aren't Democrats more concerned with this?
We should find out if we can pull this off. There is a brand new commercial from the Trump campaign talking about exactly what you just talked about. The use of the prompter, the failure of the prompter, his inability to stay up with the prompter, mixing the words up in the prompter. It's the brand new 60-second television ad that was just released by the Trump campaign. We should see if we can find that. We'll do that for you here on America's Voice, because I think that the viewers would like to see that, because it kind of explains how this all can happen, Tudor. So keep that in mind for a second. You're watching America's Voice Live. We'll be back in just a moment.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. We want to head out to our Denver studios to Jessica Rivera, who has a special report for us on mail-in voting. Jessica?
Thank you, Tudor and Steve. Voting by mail is a huge controversy right now. Just Wednesday in New Jersey, President Trump's campaign asked a federal judge to prevent election officials from counting mail-in ballots 10 days ahead of Election Day. This is due to a lawsuit that has not been settled yet. Having to do with voter fraud, the Trump campaign is also asking to ban mail-in ballots that are not postmarked from being accepted up to 2 days before Election Day. Also in North Carolina on Wednesday, some voters received 2 identical ballots for the November election in which election officials say was an error due to addressing an initial mistake. And in Colorado, the state of Colorado is actually suing the United States Post Office over a possible confusing mailer.
The postcard contains 2 pieces of wrong election information for Colorado.
In the lawsuit, Colorado says the post office mailers are causing voters to believe they can't vote in the upcoming November election if they do not request a ballot. But Colorado is one of the states where voters automatically receive ballots in the mail. There's no request necessary. And if a Colorado voter does not mail in their ballot, they can still vote in person for the upcoming November election.
So what these lawsuits are about is actually asking a judge to tell the Postal Service to not send this postcard, which contains misinformation on elections, to Colorado voters.
And the Colorado lawsuit has stopped any more of those mailers from going out for now, at least until a judge can make a decision on those mailers. But President Trump has said voters who receive an unsolicited mail-in ballot should vote by mail and then also try to vote in person on Election Day. And the president says if they allow you to vote on the day of Election Day, then your mail-in hasn't counted. So your in-person vote will count, and you can make sure of that. Then when the mail-in ballot does pop up, election officials will know to trash it because they'll see that you already have voted in person. And President Trump says it's to test the integrity of the vote-by-mail system that the left claims has little to no fraud. Tudor and Steve, back to you.
Jessica, thank you for that report. We have our own Amanda Head out on the road because, Steve, today is the day that we have another rally. Yesterday, Wisconsin. Right. Today, let's go out to Amanda. Amanda, you're on your way there. Tell us where you're headed.
Yeah, so we are off Highway 64 in Minnesota. I'm not exactly sure where that is proximity-wise. I think we're about an hour and a half away from Bemidji, which is where the rally is taking place tonight. I have to tell you, I'm outside of like an open-air barn facility, and the sign on the front says, "Welcome race fans, home of the famous LA Racing Pigs." I don't know what LA stands for. It's obviously not Los Angeles, but they have, this is a racing pig facility, and I'm staring at a sign that says full service bar, so what's better than having a beer and watching pigs race? But we are looking forward to heading there tonight. We've already gotten some information from sources who are there on the ground that there are protesters who are set to show up, so we're just going to be, handling a little bit of that. Hopefully it won't be bad. Last night, actually, there were just a few groups of protesters, but they were pretty small and relatively civil. Sorry, bugs in my face. That's going to end up on YouTube on news blooper reels. But Ben had some nice debates with some of the protesters last night, and he said he felt like he was a little bit of effective with a few of them because as he was spitting facts at them, as we conservatives like to do, that they looked like they were a little pensive and thinking about what he said. So.
What do you think a good time is for
into the
swine?
Midwest.
Yeah. That's what I want. I'm hung up on the pig races. I just want to know what's a good time. What do you look for in a good racing pig?
I mean, if it's racing, I would assume speed.
Yeah. I don't know how you get a little porker. I don't know how that works. Anyhow.
But I think style matters too. You might want to find a pig with good swagger.
Well, there you go. Greatly appreciated. Amanda Head out there on the road. And we run her everywhere, don't we, Tudor? Run her all over the country. There's that bug again. Just keeps getting her. At any rate, I don't think I've traveled the country. I've traveled the back roads. I've been to some redneck places. I don't think I've ever seen a sign for pig racing any time in my life. I don't know why that got my attention, but it did because I'm thinking of all the places I've been. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life. Goldfish races once. It's about as far as I ever got to there.
We have pig racing right up the street from us. So we go to a little farm here. You can get your pumpkins there. You can get your and you can watch pig racing, and the kids go, and then you can kind of bet on who's going to win. I can't believe you've never. I cannot believe I know pig racing and you don't. This is something that is shocking to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's something I have to put on my bucket list, or not. Maybe not a good idea.
Come on over to my
pig
side
racing,
of the state.
everybody. Yeah. That's what's going to get us
Come
there.
on
All
over.
right, quick break
we'll
on
go
America's
to the beach
Voice
and then we'll
Live.
do some pig racing.
Yeah, sit right there.
Hello, Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to the second hour of America's Voice Live. Thanks for being with us today. I'm Tudor Dixon alongside Steve Gerber. Today is Friday, September 18th, 2020. Let's take a look at today's headlines. The president held a conference on American history yesterday where he announced a new school curriculum. We are actually expecting the president to come out anytime again today. If he does come out, we will go to him, but for now, we are going to go through the headlines. And what's it like to be on the front lines at these protests and riots? Well, we're going to have an expert here, so we're going to ask him that exact question. And this is going to shock you. I can't make this up, honestly. Suddenly, the city council in Minneapolis is asking, where are the police? It's funny because it seems like they were the ones to kick them out. But first, Steve, the president introduced this 1776 Unites yesterday, didn't he?
He did, and it comes at a critical time. I mean, let's look at the theme of the way the president is framing his re-election campaign. It's around law and order. It's around America first. It's around working class people, the middle class, blue collar workers, and the people that believe that the 4th of July parade is something they want to go to, not go ahead and take a shot at. He's appealing to people who roll up their sleeves and go to work. He's appealing to people who believe in this country. He's appealing to people that believe in the traditions of this country, whatever they may be. It's the 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day, maybe even Thanksgiving, because it seems to me that every day you read a new headline that talks about some other American tradition, some other American underpinning that's being attacked. And now the president says it's enough. We can't be teaching our school children that America's a terrible place, because it's just not true. We need to talk about what's good about America, the great people that have built America, how America is going to be a better country going forward. Here's a portion of what the president had to say.
Our mission is to defend the legacy of America's founding, the virtue of America's heroes, and the nobility of the American character. We must clear away the twisted web of lies in our schools and classrooms and teach our children the magnificent truth about our country. We want our sons and daughters to know that they are the citizens of the most exceptional nation in the history of the world.
The reason for that, of course, is that they are citizens of the most exceptional nation on earth. And so the president is laying out his conversation, and he's targeting moms and dads that have school kids in elementary, middle school, and high school. Moms and dads that are like, man, I can't believe this assignment came home that looks like this. What are they trying to teach our kids? Why are they teaching us that everything about America is bad, and that little boy is bad because of the way he looks, and that little boy is a victim because of the way he looks? That's what the president says has to stop, whether it's the 1619 Project, the critical race theory garbage that's being fed to school kids every day. Stop teaching America to hate itself, is what he's saying. Here's one more portion of the president's conversation yesterday from the White House.
For many years now, the radicals have mistaken Americans' silence for weakness, but they're wrong. There is no more powerful force than a parent's love for their children, and patriotic moms and dads are going to demand that their children are no longer fed hateful lies about this country. American parents are not going to accept indoctrination in our schools, cancel culture in our work, or the repression of traditional faith, culture, and values in the public square. Not anymore.
I honestly love the way he says that. I love the fact that not anymore. We're going to talk about American exceptionalism, Tudor, and you know what? It made me feel proud to watch him say that. We're not going to be maligned anymore, not from these people that are inside our own communities and inside our classrooms, and not from the teachers and not from the professors that want to hate on America enough already. Let's get on with loving America and telling the people the truth about who we really are and how we've grown and all the great things we've done. Freedom, opportunity, and free enterprise, all of these things. It must be discussed, but we don't have civics classes anymore. We don't talk about American government much. It's sad how many young people don't know anything about our system of government, don't even know anything about how it works. Think the Electoral College is somehow a racist system because that's more of the garbage that's been shoved down their throats. Anyhow.
I like something that he says about parents, though. He comes out and he says there's no one who is fiercer than parents working for their children's education. And I think for a lot of years, parents trusted the system. So many years, parents believed that the educational system was benefiting their children. And just recently, I've seen this switch. And this has happened in California. And I even know groups here in Michigan that are aligned with the groups in California. Because as we discussed a few days ago, what happens in California generally starts to go across the nation. And so we actually have groups here in Michigan. I suspect there are groups across the country who are aligned with parent groups in California, parent groups who are fighting this curriculum. There's a lot of curriculum beyond 1619, a lot of sex ed curriculum that is being put into the schools by Planned Parenthood, that these parents, many conservative parents, and that's something we don't think of a lot in California, but many conservative Californian parents are going into their school board meetings and saying, we're done with this, get this curriculum out of our schools. And I think parents need to understand that you have power in your school. You can be on your school board. You can run for those things. You need to be involved to make sure your children are getting the education that you want. And something else you said, Steve, is that people are not celebrating the 4th of July. And so this curriculum, the president said, hey, if you're teaching 1619, I'm going to take the funding away from your school. Well, we know this is happening in Chicago. We know there are other schools that are teaching this. Now we have middle school students who have said, I get sick to my stomach by the thought of celebrating the 4th of July now because I know it's all a lie. This is the manipulation. But if you're hearing this in your school, students trust teachers. It is a real manipulation to have a teacher go into an impressionable mind and tell them you've been lied to by your country.
Yeah, taxation without representation, very simple things. Throwing off the shackles of the monarchy of England, the greatest power in the world, and they shot people at Concord Bridge, and they didn't have tweet storms, and they didn't have social media messages. They shot people, and they defended themselves, and they freed themselves from the English, the most powerful nation on earth at the time. And these are great men who did great things, along with great women who did great things all the way through the American Revolution. And we should be teaching those things. It brings to mind, Tudor, one other thing you touched on there, and that is simply this. It gives parents, this pandemic does, the opportunity to explore much further the idea of homeschooling. and doing private schools and getting away from the public schools and all the garbage that is fed to our kids by way of garbage textbooks, the 1619 Project, critical race theory, and all of this other manure that's being spread across the country. And so therefore, parents in large numbers, in fact, record numbers of parents, are now homeschooling. Record numbers of parents are now sending their kids to private schools and schools of choice and private academies. And why do you think that is? Well, one of the driving forces is because the education they're getting, the indoctrination in education they are getting in the public schools is no longer acceptable to millions of families around this country.
Absolutely. I want to switch gears really quickly because I want to get to this story. We mentioned it in the first hour. I want to talk about it now. We had Ben Bergquam out by the fires. Now, when he was out there, he was talking to, or he was trying to speak to Kamala Harris and Governor Newsom because they were out there on the property that had been burned. They were looking through the ashes. We have a photo of it. I want to put that on the screen so that you can see this photo, this house. You can see the fireplace in the background. The family has come forward and said, if you know us, you know that is our fireplace. And this is my parents' fireplace. So the son has come out and said, this was my parents' fireplace. They did not have permission to go on my parents' land. And the worst part about this is they feel, A, it was a photo op, but B, Steve, the parents of the owners of this property, the parents of the man who is putting this story out there, have not been allowed on their property themselves to look through their stuff to see if anything was salvageable.
Can you
but
imagine?
There you see.
Can you imagine that? Here is your parents' home. It's ashes. You're not allowed to come back. You're not allowed to see any of it. And yet the governor and the candidate for vice president, they can go out there, get a photo op, take selfies, do anything they want. Talk about appalling. I can see why they're upset. Clearly upset. Great story, Tudor. Quick break here on America's Voice Live. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper for the first time has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get body pillows regularly $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Well, if you missed it yesterday, it was Constitution Day, which is why the president was out there talking about the 1776 Project and talking about how the 1619 Project is dishonest and how critical race theory is something that's more likely to divide us. 233 years ago, the Constitution was signed in 1787. It was the beginning of a new experiment in self-governance. The governed giving consent to those that would govern them. At least that was the theory 233 years ago. From Just the News, Carrie Sheffield joins us now to talk more about it. Carrie, welcome to the program.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you here. So one of the things that the critics say is, well, America was racist and Thomas Jefferson had slaves and so did George Washington. Thomas Jefferson also knew at the age of 33 when he signed the Declaration of Independence after he crafted that masterpiece that he had laid the groundwork for the end of slavery. The Northwest Ordinance that became the Northwest Territories, it was all created as free states. Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers of this nation knew that they had written the death warrant for slavery, didn't they?
Well, it's interesting, yes, because if you look at contextually at the time, the practice of slavery within human history was thousands of years old. And it really was Western civilization, Judeo-Christian civilization, that actually flipped the script and said that slavery was wrong. So when you see folks from the 1619 Project saying that the Constitution was fundamentally, completely, totally flawed, they're denying history in terms of what actually happened, in terms of what the Constitution meant as an innovative document to allow for the eventual end of slavery with the amendment process that was enshrined in the Constitution.
You know, it reminds me of a comment from President John Kennedy when he had Nobel laureates at the White House, and somebody remarked that it might be the greatest collection of human minds in the history of the White House, and he said, yes, except for maybe the times that Thomas Jefferson would dine alone. The point being is that Jefferson, sure, he was a flawed individual. He was a flawed human being. He had slaves, and yet he knew the institution was fading. He knew the institution could not last. He knew that he was laying the groundwork, the foundational principles for what would make America free. And that comes by way of the amendments to the United States Constitution. We were able to make changes along the way. The Emancipation Proclamation that led to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. And the list goes on, Carrie. We have been able to evolve as a nation. Has it been perfect? No, but we're in the pursuit of a more perfect union. They never said we were perfect to begin with, did they?
Correct, and that's exactly what the founding document language says in the Constitution. It is toward a more perfect union. It never says that it will be a perfect union, it's a more perfect union, because the founders understood the human condition is inherently broken, it's inherently flawed, and the founders themselves knew that they were flawed, mortal human beings. And so I did an interview with Brooke Rollins. It's going to be on our website, justthenews.com, and she is the chief acting domestic policy advisor to President Trump. And she spoke to me because of Constitution Day, and she spoke exactly about this issue of amendments because she said so often right now our children and in schools and in universities, they're taught to be ashamed of our country. They're taught that the country is hopelessly racist, hopelessly flawed because of the fact that slavery was practiced by, as you mentioned, Thomas Jefferson, Washington, etc. However, she said the amendment process was baked into that cake because the founders knew that amendments would be necessary to move us toward a more perfect union. And so for critics who want to throw out the baby with the bathwater from the 1619 Project, she says to them, look at the documents themselves. Structurally, they allowed for improvement to become a more perfect union.
Why do you think this is, Carrie? I mean, honestly, why do you think there is this drive to create the 1619 Project or critical race theory or pick your victim? Those on the left want to point to the white child and tell him, you're bad, you're born racist, and then point to the black child and say, you're a victim. And I think the president was right on the money when he says, now, wait a second. This tears us apart. This tears the basic fabric. This destroys our social contract in America because this is who we are. E pluribus unum, from many comes one, right? Not this hyphenated American, that hyphenated American. Teddy Roosevelt, the 26th president of the United States, said a hyphenated American is no American at all. And I've got to believe in 2020 that holds more meaning than it did when he said it back in 1906. Your thoughts?
Well, a good friend of mine is named Bob Woodson, and hopefully you guys could have him on, but he started a project earlier this year in the winter, and he called it the 1776 Coalition. He is a distinguished scholar and activist within the black community. He had worked previously for, I believe it was the National Urban League or the NAACP. In the 60s, he had been jailed. This guy has put his actual life on the line for civil rights. And he's a conservative black activist, and he's created this coalition of scholars and thinkers to respond very strongly to the 1619 Project. And one of the arguments I hear from Bob is this notion that the progress that African Americans or Black Americans have seen in this country is because of the founding documents, and that people should not be ashamed of the founding documents themselves. And even Dr. Martin Luther King himself said that it was a promissory note. What the founding fathers created was a promissory note that this would be enacted. And yes, obviously, as I mentioned before, the human condition is inherently broken and flawed, but these founding fathers knew that, and so they put that into the documents that things could be improved with time.
That's right. Classical thinkers, classical education, whether it was Jefferson or John Adams to a much lesser extent, or James Madison or Alexander Hamilton, all of these people crafting what turned out to be the best foundational documents for government in world history, because it's the longest continuous government in world history. So they must have gotten something right along the way, Carrie. So you've got these great interviews, you've got these great conversations, you've got these great opportunities for people to share in what you've learned. Where can they go and find out more about what you're writing, who you're talking to, and who you're digging deeper with when it comes to this? Because there are so many parents out there and so many people out there that are so tired, just worn out by hearing about how bad America is when we know better. I mean, we grew up here. We know who our neighbors are and our friends are and our family are, and then they want to tell us we're these terrible people. We know better. Where can we find out more about what you're doing?
Well, I'm with Just the News, so folks can go to justthenews.com and check out my reporting. I'm the White House correspondent for Just the News. The individual that I mentioned, Mr. Bob Whitson, his 1776 project, they just released a curriculum to be taught in schools because that's what the 1619 Project has been trying to do, and has successfully tried to penetrate schools and teach children that they should be ashamed of their founding fathers. This curriculum from the Whitson Center, so it's Bob Whitson. I would recommend this to your viewers to check out that curriculum, maybe recommend it to your local school district for your children or even just your neighbor's children, and get them to think critically.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. Carrie Sheffield from Just the News, justthenews.com if you want to find out more. It's an important and timely conversation happening right now on America's Voice Live.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go solo. Call 1-800-709-9777 or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new MicroTouch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. Okay, so Steve, you've been telling me all about this commercial that the president has out. I have not seen it, so what should I expect?
Well, here's the conversation that's been going on, Tudor. You know it and I know it. A lot of questions being asked. Is Joe Biden using his prompter pretty much all the time to, even do Zoom conversations with what should be easy softball questions? Because we see him saying, "Oh, bring the camera up." Oh, and then he'll read the liner notes and the production notes that the producers put into the teleprompter. Of course, you know about the teleprompter and producers and so forth. You work in this atmosphere, so you have a pretty good idea. The problem is, Joe Biden's not a television professional. He's not even middle of the road. I'm not sure he'd make it in single A ball based on his performance. Nothing personal, Joe. But the Republicans said, you know what? I think he does have a problem with the prompter, and we want to take a close look at it in our latest commercial. I think it's kind of fun. Look at this.
Has Joe Biden ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A with supporters?
What will your administration do to help them give him that chance?
Let's move it up here. There used to be a basic part.
Joe Biden possibly, reading his responses from a teleprompter.
Social distancing and wearing masks, which I never do when I walk outside of this house. I never fail to do. Now, one day, on day one.
Has Joe Biden ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A?
It's trying to distract the American people.
Can you say yes or no, Brett? Yes or no? You can't answer the question.
The rapidly rising I don't know.
I think it's a fun commercial, Tudor. I think it's very telling, because we've seen all of those gaffes. We've seen all that. And so he's doing this, and they've got the prompter in there, and then it backs up and says, no, don't read that. Go back and read it again. I think it's kind of a fun commercial. You need some of that in a campaign season. They can't all be hard-hitting, mean-spirited. Some of them have to be kind of fun, and I think that one's kind of fun. What do you think?
I think it is fun for Trump supporters. I think Biden supporters have got to be concerned when they see that. I mean, when you see when Bret Baier asked the question and you see the look on his face, and that truly happened. I mean, you can go back and watch the clip. You can see that there's a bit of panic going on there because this is a serious question. Think about how serious this is. I mean, we say we're poking fun at this. Okay, this is a joke. This is a cute commercial, but the implications of this, a foreign policy call, you get on the phone with Putin, how are you going to have your phone call scripted?
Well, exactly. You're not, except that you're going to have some guy there doing the Karl Rove whiteboard. Oh, say this, say... what else are you going to do? I mean, here's the problem. All kidding aside, which is hard for me on a Friday, but all kidding aside, you look at the way he struggles when he's got a teleprompter. How is he going to function, whether it's a phone call with Putin or a debate with the president on the 29th of September to start with, or anything else? In order to be president of the United States, you have to be able to think on your feet. And I don't think there's an argument that can be made safely that anybody could put forth credibly that would say Joe Biden is faster on his feet and more lucid than Donald Trump. Now, you may not like Donald Trump because he tweets or he says this or he has this bad attitude. Listen, I didn't see him voted in as a pastor. I saw him voted in as a president looking for results. And you have to ask yourself, when you've got conversations and negotiations over things like trade with China, Middle East peace between Israel and the UAE, making a deal with the USMCA with the Canadians and the Mexicans to get together a North American trading zone that actually works for American workers. I mean, do you really trust Joe Biden to be in those conversations, or is it like, oh, hold on, it's nap time for Joe. Just give us a minute. He'll be out. Just honestly.
I don't think people trust Joe Biden to make it to the community lunch on time.
I don't think he can make. I said earlier, after 3.5 weeks, and they used the 25th Amendment to make Kamala Harris president. That might be being a bit generous. Honestly, I mean, if he's there, We already know that he's had aneurysms, and I'm not making fun of that. That's a very serious medical condition, something we should respect, and he's been through that, and he's talked about it, right? He's had these aneurysms, which they take off a piece of your skull, and they go and they do whatever, they fix it, all right? He's 77 years old. He'll be 78 years old by the time he would reach January of 2021. By the time he would be done with his term, he'd be 82. If he ran for a second term, he'd be 86. This is unprecedented territory. Ronald Reagan left office at 77. Joe Biden would be entering office as the oldest president ever. I mean, this is not a funny thing. Back in a moment on America's Voice Live.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Back on America's Voice Live. You may not know my next guest, but my guess is you've seen his work in the last few weeks, because my next guest is best known as BG on the scene. Brendan Gutenschwager is his name. He hails from Wyandotte, Michigan. He's 23 years old. He's a guy with a camera who got carried away, swept up, if you will. But his footage has made national and international news. Why? He's been in Portland, Minneapolis, Seattle. He was in Kenosha when shots rang out and Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 people, including killing one. Brandon was only steps away when that happened. He joins me here on the program because his story is compelling. Brendan, welcome back.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So good to have you here. All right, so first of all, you're 23 years old. You get swept up with a protest at the state capitol in Michigan, not far from your home, and you decided, man, this is kind of fun. And you got on the road, but man, you have been in some dangerous places. You've been in Portland right up front. You have been in D.C. when Senator Rand Paul was accosted, and you're rolling tape. You're right here all the time. And more telling, you were right there in Kenosha. Shots rang out. Tell me about that moment in time, because here you are, a freelance frontline, I'll call you a war correspondent, because really Portland or Seattle or Minneapolis, it's not too far off from being on the front lines of a war. Tell me about that night in Kenosha.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that night, especially when those guns started going off. It was a scary situation because I didn't know the full context as to why there were so many gunshots going off, what people had done. So you're just caught there in the middle of this situation, and you don't know just how bad it's going to turn. So all of this was unfolding right in front of my eyes there in front of the street, 20, 30 feet away. And I just kind of kept filming. I kept somewhat of a distance, although not very much, and ultimately just tried to keep myself level-headed through it as best as I could. It's not very possible, but when you have all this going on, I was like, you know what, let me just keep doing what I've been doing, which is filming, documenting what's going on out here, and worry about the emotions later.
Ice water in your veins, Brendan. I mean, at that point, you're 30 feet away. I mean, you're seeing this happen in real time. You're witnessing history in real time, up close. Gunshots at that distance are loud. Gunshots at that distance are loud, and you see people fall down. And now you might not know they're dead, but you've got to have an idea as you're processing all this information. And then Kyle Rittenhouse, he makes his way down the street. You follow him. I mean, you have peace of mind to stick with these people and continue to roll all of it live. I mean, is this a calling for you? I think America needs more honest journalists that go out there and just show us, here's what's happening. Because I haven't really heard you take a side. It's not like you say, I support Antifa or I support those on the right. You're just like, here's what I'm seeing. I'm kind of in the thick of it. And you talk to different people and you just share the real thing, unfiltered.
Absolutely. And I think that we need more of that in this country to actually report what's really going on these scenes. That's something that has been lacking a lot. And it's part of what had pushed me to get out there in the first place years ago to start covering these rallies, these protests. That has just escalated over time. Now, as you mentioned with Operation Gridlock back in April, that was sort of the catalyst in the pandemic era. That was the first protest where people actually really got out of the house. And then now people are out in the streets, all sorts of cities, from Philadelphia to Kenosha to Portland, Seattle, and I've just wanted to get out there and report accurately, neutrally. Here's what's happening. Here's what I'm actually seeing on the ground, and you can make of it what you will. I'm not here to push people one way or another. I just want people to know this is what's going on, and I think it's really important.
I recall one scene. You got back to your car and the windows had been smashed out. That might have been in Portland. I think that was your car. The window, you get back and you're like, my car is trashed. And people on social media going, oh, that's a setup. That didn't really happen. It really happened.
Oh, 100%. Actually, just earlier today, I was at the Secretary of State's office in Michigan because I need to get my license replaced because that was stolen as one of many, many things that were stolen out of my car that night. Yeah, no, when they were rioting through one neighborhood, little did I know that actually people were also coming through a totally different neighborhood and had smashed into my car where I was parked and stole thousands of dollars worth of stuff out of there. It was very, very unfortunate. I know the immediate response to that would be, well, why do you have your car so close to a riot zone? I was actually parked quite a distance away from where all the action was happening that night, and it still happened. That's just how crazy things were throughout Kenosha that night.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because this is a question that a lot of people want to know. And that is, when you're in Portland or you're in Minneapolis or you're in Chicago or you're in D.C. where Rand Paul's getting, heckled and jostled pretty good after the RNC comes to a conclusion that Thursday night after the president's speech. Are you seeing some of the same faces? Because there's a theory out there that the leaders of Antifa or the Black Lives Matter as a political movement are out there and agitating and getting on planes and going to where the action is, if you will, to stir up trouble. Are you seeing some of the same places along the way enough to say that, well, maybe there's some truth to that?
There's some people that have definitely crossed country and been out there at protests in different cities. I've seen some of the same faces between Portland, D.C., and Kenosha, at least. Aside from those, I can't really testify to any other cities that I've seen the exact same face in, but there are definitely a few that have been on the move. I wouldn't say it's like massive contingents coming from Portland over to DC, but there's a few. And I know, for example, like the Black Lives Matter snack ban that kind of received a lot of traction, a lot of attention.
Right.
And I saw them all the way from Portland to DC and then back in Portland a few days later. So they're definitely traveling across the country.
But there's some violent people here, aren't there? I mean, these are people that are looking for a fight. These are people that are coming prepared to create mayhem. I mean, obviously, we've seen the destruction in Minneapolis, Portland just getting hammered, Kenosha. I think if not for the National Guard, it would still be going. But you've seen some violent people up close does it give you pause? Are you concerned about the future of this country when you're watching what you're seeing?
To an extent, yeah. It's definitely concerning to see on such a wide scale in so many different places in the U.S., as opposed to if it was just a one-time thing in one city. I will say there are still a lot of peaceful protesters out there. It's a weird mix at a lot of these groups, and so it's kind of hard to find where is that line and who are the people out here that are actually trying to get violent as opposed to people that are just trying to have their voices heard. You know, it's been a very, very tense, very complex situation. I do have some concerns for where the country is headed ultimately and how this all ends.
I mean, you've been right up front. It's been ugly. It's been violent. Let me ask you this. We do see some reporters, and again, I consider you a freelance, independent, frontline war correspondent. I think that's kind of the role that you play here for America, and I really appreciate what you're doing for us, because if not for you, Brendan, I don't know what kind of video we would actually see from these places. You have made it consistent, and they're long videos, so you can make, it's not like it's a 3-second video. You give us context, which is important. So when you run into these people, do they know you now? And do they kind of give you a wide berth? Because we've seen reporters and correspondents that have been targeted, that have been chased into buildings and so forth. I don't see that happening to you. So you must have some sort of a truce with the people that are there.
To an extent, and that may be partially because of the way I report and how I stick to very, very neutral reporting of facts. I'm not here to try to sensationalize things for one side or the other, no matter what the event is. So, you know, there's still a big degree of anonymity with it all, I think. As big as one thing might seem, there's always going to be people that have never heard of you, always going to be people that have no idea who you are, what you look like. So I don't know, to a degree, things are being recognized. I know sometimes I've been misrepresented, where people thought I was somebody else on social media, started following me, like physically following me, like they're at the scene, and then only later found out that I wasn't who they thought they were, and eventually left me alone. So there's definitely that weird dynamic that goes on, but I've tried my best to just kind of stick the middle ground through it all.
BG on the scene, Brendan Gutenschwager from Michigan, out there in the front lines. He is self-funded, so I say at BG on the scene, follow him on Twitter, because you know what? He's doing good work out there. 23 years old, has the guts to stand in there and get us the pictures that tell us what's going on American streets. This is America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. Steve, we've talked about Black Lives Matter quite a bit on this program, and one of the things that we've talked about that the president got dinged on for saying was that it's a Marxist organization. And the president said this all of a sudden. Everybody in the news media, corporate media came out and said, well, this is a slur, he can't call them this. But the founder has come out herself and said that it's a Marxist organization. They've talked about the fact that these are the ideologies that they are closest with. Well, now Black Lives Matter has teamed up with a pro-Chinese Communist Party group. And you have to ask yourself, why are people not saying we must run from this organization? But if you don't believe me, I want you to listen to it from the founder's mouth herself. Here she is.
We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that what we really try to do is build a movement that could be utilized by many, many Black folk.
This is the woman who said, we're trained Marxists. And so now they've come up with this, the Black Futures Lab. And the Black Futures Lab is together with this CCP organization, and now they're coming out and they're trying to take this out to the American people. So this would ultimately be changing our entire economic system if they could get what they wanted. And you would be going straight toward communism, Steve. But so many people that I know on social media are really complaining that the media has labeled Antifa as fascists and said this is not true. And now they're coming out and saying that BLM, they're Marxist.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it remarkable, Tudor? They come out and say, we're Marxists. Donald Trump says, they're Marxist. Oh, my God, I can't believe he said that. I'm sorry, he didn't say that. He repeated what they said. Alicia Garza and all of these other founders of Black Lives Matter, and you're right, the Black Futures Lab, gathering information about the ways that policy affects the Black communities. That's their underlying alleged mission statement. But the bottom line, the truth is, it's about revolution. La revolution. That's what they're pursuing. Let's be honest about what's happening here. It is a Marxist organization. They say so themselves. They're not ashamed of it any more than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is ashamed of being a democratic socialist. Even though she doesn't know what the term means, she thinks it's a cool thing to say. And just like we talked about earlier this week on the program, people go around and they put on the Che Guevara shirt thinking that's some sort of a cool thing to say when Che Guevara was a murderer who hated black people and was a disgusting human being who was a terrorist. I mean, this is historical fact. Whether or not they'll teach it in the public schools here is your guess as good as mine. But historical fact is beautiful. You know, I'm going to just tell you a quick story here, Tudor. This is why I went back recently and bought an old set of World Book encyclopedias. You know why? Because I can go back and say, okay, what's really happening? I don't have to trust Google. I don't have to trust the search engines. I don't have to trust the purveyors of truth that, you know, run Twitter and Facebook. I can go back and say, hey, I've got some old books here. I want to look up, pick your subject, whatever it may be. Maybe it's Thomas Jefferson. We were talking about Constitution Day and so forth here a moment ago. And so what I say to you is, find some sources that can't be altered by the click of a mouse or the click of a computer. Find yourself something, and I love books. It comes from my mother, who was a school teacher. But I love books, and I like the idea to go back and say, well, now, wait a second. You're telling me this or that, but that's not how the historical record holds up, because I've got books that say otherwise from 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, and some even older. I've got a book written in 1863 that chronicles the Civil War before it was over. Fascinating things to read that cannot be adulterated or deleted. Not until they get here with their pitchforks and burn my library. And so I guess what I'm saying is you trust the books, read books, real books, let the pages touch your fingers. I think it's what I teach my kids. And so it's just a little sidebar, but I think it's so important.
My father came out with some facts the other day, and I said, well, where are you getting that? And he looked at me and he said, the encyclopedia. My kids are like, is that like
I love
Wikipedia?
your father.
No.
Yeah, no. World Book. You never had encyclopedia? I love your father. I haven't met him, but he and I are going to talk now because he's on the right track. It's true. Go buy the Britannica World Book, whatever you can find. You can probably find them. I didn't pay anything for it. You know, nobody thinks that they're worth anything anymore. They're being discarded because everybody's got the internet. Why would I need encyclopedias? Why? Because at some point you might want some truth, and not the truth according to the people behind the electronic curtain here on your computer. I mean, honestly, keep some truth.
No, but what's interesting...
do not touch the books.
What's interesting about the people behind the computer is that the people behind the computer actually know everything that's happening in your life, Steve. So there was a rioter out in Seattle, and the police went to Apple and said, hey, we need help finding this Kelly Jackson. We think that he firebombed some police cars. Well, they gave him the password to Kelly Jackson's iCloud account, and they ended up pulling up all of the pictures from his account and finding out that not only is Kelly Jackson maybe not smart enough to go out and riot and then attack the police, but he also is not smart enough to not think about not taking pictures of himself. He actually took pictures of himself doing it, celebrating that he did it. So this is pretty good evidence that he had it, but also something for children to think about. Whatever you put in your phone is accessible to multiple people. So if you're taking a picture of yourself, the police can find it. Everybody that is in charge of Apple can find it. It is in the cloud. Once that is in the cloud, it is accessible to other people. So if you don't want somebody to know you're doing something, don't take a picture of yourself doing it.
You have to wonder about the mental acuity. Hey, look, it's a selfie of us breaking into the bank. Look at that. Smile for the camera, everybody. I mean, you look at these idiots. Come on. You know, look at us. We just stole a car. Woo! We're on Facebook Live, everybody. Hi. I mean, what is wrong with these people, Tudor? This is why we need cash bail. That right there, because, you know, that's felony stupidity right there, and they should be charged. Mm-hmm.
Well, why do you need cash bail? You have the Minnesota Freedom Fund. They'll just get you out.
Well, there you go.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all fine and well until you steal Kamala's car. You know.
Right. Well, interesting. The Minneapolis City Council is wondering why the crime has surged in their city after they defunded the police. Actually went to the police chief to ask him. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, Steve, but that's why we're here to bring you the news. To tell you what once they decide to defund, then how do they react? Right. We'll be right back on America's Voice Live.
Hello.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this.
Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Tudor, I'm deeply concerned. I'm having some emotional instability, and I need your help. Of course, that's nothing new, right? I have that every day. But in all seriousness, I'm having social media anxiety. I'm concerned because TikTok and WeChat, which I don't even know what that is apparently not going to be available after Sunday. Whatever shall I do? Now, TikTok, I used to kind of like. My daughter would show me videos. I would laugh. I'd say, that's really funny. You know, dogs doing weird things, cats doing dumb things. Kind of fun stuff. WeChat, I don't know, but apparently it's off limits now. Help me out. Why? I could be crushed emotionally. What's going on, Tudor? I need your help here.
The amount that you actually do dance in the breaks here, I do not believe that you are not intimately familiar with TikTok. And so I don't believe
start
a
with
word
me.
you're
It's
saying.
Friday. Oh, it's Friday.
And I know you're
We're ready.
terrified. You're terrified of this because what's going to happen on Sunday is you can't download TikTok anymore or WeChat. They're just gone. They're not gone on your phone now. I know, Steve, you have it. I know you have it. So don't worry. You'll be able to look back at your own TikToks.
Yeah.
You'll be able to look back at your own dances.
Okay, I get TikTok. I know what that is, you know, and I can bust a move, and I can probably bust a hip too at this age. But what is WeChat? What is it? See right there. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's a little bit.
What I'm talking about.
Yes. So that's what happens on TikTok apparently. But we still have Likey. So this is the first time that I knew something that our producer didn't know. Likey, yes. Likey is similar to TikTok. You can do these little dances and you can reenact things. My kids are doing this all the time. So Steve, I'll send it to you so that you can continue, and I'll follow you. I'll look for your videos on it because I know that you are a TikTok star. But you know who else is a TikTok star? Kevin Conrad. He is a TikTok star. He is a Mannheim firefighter, and in his time off, he actually is a TikTok star, which I think is awesome. We have some of his videos here. It's great because in the middle of all of this horrible firefighting out in California, everything that's going on, he said, all of these people have so much stress. I love this. All first responders have so much stress that he started doing this to kind of relieve the stress of these first responders, and so he's doing a push-up challenge. So this is what you can do, Steve. Yes, you can be this too, but I don't know if you'll get as many followers as him. He has about 22,000 followers. He's pretty popular. I don't know that you'll get there, Steve. In fact, you might actually turn people off.
Now, easy. It's Friday. Be nice to me. I have feelings now. Let's be kind. Let's not give people a bad impression around here. All right. The push-up that guy was doing, perfect. The guy is a stud. I mean, perfect form. You know, other things I respect. Perfect form.
That's why he has so many followers. People are trying to learn. Yes, he has a lot of followers. He is cheering people up. He is giving people that opportunities to see him doing things on TikTok, but not now. You cannot download it. You can watch old videos on TikTok if you have it. So if you don't have it and you want it,
what's the reason, though, that on Sunday, why does the whole TikTok universe come collapsing in on itself? What happens to WeChat? What? They're pulling the plug.
Because they are also, so we were just talking about the Chinese Communist Party. They are also connected to the Chinese Communist Party. And so we have found out, the U.S. government has found out. They can actually go into your phone and track all of your keystrokes. And so they can go into your phone, they can get all of your information, and no matter who you are, they can track your keystrokes. So potentially they could get into highly classified government information. If you are a government employee, but you also love to dance, if you love to put these videos out, you got to be careful. They can get into your personal stuff.
I don't think I'm that interesting. It's the hack dance from the Chinese. I got it. I don't like it. All right, TikTok's got to go. Don't know what WeChat is, but I sure was excited to hear about it today. I'll tell you that. Excited.
Well, you don't have to know. It's no longer a thing. So don't worry about WeChat. Don't worry. I'll send you Likey so that you can still continue with your online dancing. We don't want your fans to miss out. I know your biggest fans are probably in your house.
The dogs. You're exactly right. I feed them. They like me for that. You figured me out. The dogs dig me, no question about it. Hey, it's been a good week, hasn't it? We've gotten a lot covered here. We've had a couple of good laughs along the way. We've covered a lot of territory. We changed the name of the network. You and I, we decided that in the break. I don't like it. Let's call it Real America's Voice. So we did that during the break. We got an app built for you. Is there a rally tonight? Is that happening tonight or is that tomorrow? I'm trying to keep up.
Absolutely. There is a rally tonight. We talked to Amanda earlier. She's on her way there. She will be there tonight. There's a rally tonight at 7 p.m. and we will start coverage at 6:30. So make sure you are right here at 6:30. You don't want to miss it. And then we will show that rally uninterrupted. This is the best place to watch the rally. So make sure you tune in tonight to America's Voice, Real America's Voice.
I'll be right here. I won't even move.
And stay right here for the National Pulse next.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I